belong to you. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life.
I actually land on this sometimes.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
I think like 7, 8, they run an old Star Trek, and then it starts going into the other episodes. Hey, Drew Brees, bail me out of this lame conversation about Star Trek. Yeah, you're right. Thank you, Mr. Drew Brees, for that. Corey Johnson back at you. Hey, yeah, you right. Shout out to our New Orleans and beyond audience. In case you're listening via the internet device in Kansas, we say yes, comma, you are correct. It is a Monday afternoon. 2 big hours coming your way on the radio. 2 big hours coming your way live streaming. Check out our website, CoreyTalks.com. Corey spelled K-A-A-R-E, CoreyTalks.com. We also are on radio for 2 big hours. Oh, so fine, 93.9 FM. Oh, so fine, 93.9 FM. Make it one of your presets. You can also check us out on the other side of the FM dial, way over on the right side. At least that's how it used to be in the old-timey automobiles. 107.9 FM. New Orleans own 107.9 FM. If you're traversing outside the New Orleans area, beelining to Baton Rouge, heading deep up into the North Shore, maybe going to southern Mississippi, Diamond Head, past Christian, Long Beach, beyond, Mobile, Alabama, Pensacola, Florida. Take us on the road with you. Sneaky little powerful AM signal carrying the show. 600 AM. 600 AM. 90 minutes of fun on the television set. You can check us out weekday afternoons all over South Louisiana. If you're a Cox Television subscriber, still the #1 television provider in the state, we're on Cox Channel 4. 4 to 5:30 weekdays. If you're an old Charter television subscriber up there in Slidell, North Shore, River Parishes, Cajun Country, Spectrum, Charter, we're on Spectrum Channel 333, weekdays 4 to 5:30. Now, a lot of televisions today, smart TVs, you can basically pull down YouTube Live, YouTube television. We're on YouTube Live right now. That means your smartphone, a tablet, pad, computer, your smart TV at home. Go to YouTube, search bar, The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson, K-A-A-R-E to spell Corey. Kaboom goes the dynamite, and you're in there just like that, locked and loaded. Speaking of, why don't you click on the subscribe little bar there if you're on YouTube. Click to subscribe. It doesn't cost a thing. It's a freebie. This just costs a real little. It's not even cost. It's an investment. It really is, and it's an investment. Could you please go to the Humane May website? The Humane Society of Louisiana website, humanela.org. Our Humane May fundraiser's going on right now. And we really need your support. Trying to raise $10,000 in the month of May. It's the 20th, 2/3 of the month in the books. Got about 35% of this month left. Really need your help. Please donate right now. Earlier in the campaign, you're like, I'll donate later in the month. It's later in the month. HumaneLA.org is the website. Upper left-hand corner of the page, you'll see me laying down with Blue Boy. HumaneLA.org. Click on that and donate. And please be generous. Let's hit that goal. $10,000 in the month of May. HumaneLA.org. 89, mostly sunny out there. Thank goodness only like 50% humidity. That's a little saving grace because it feels like 94. Man, yesterday it's like 87. So a few degrees cooler, like 87. I'm walking my dog like 7:30 at night. I'm telling you, the humidity was off the charts and there was not a single breeze wind. If you would have pulled up a blade of grass and dropped it, it would have fallen straight down where you were standing. Zero wind, zero breeze, mosquitoes flying, humid, and just hot as hell, just like you're in a sauna. It was crazy. That was yesterday about 7:30 at night, sun going down. I was like, how can it be so stifling hot right now? 87 degrees coupled with ridiculous humidity. So it's a couple of degrees hotter right now, and it's sunny. But 53% humidity is a savior, I think. No rain in sight. Got a lot of rinse and repeat for like the next 5, 7, 10 days. Low to mid 70s to start every day. Low to mid 70s. And then high temps in the high 80s, low 90s. It's like every day for the next like week and a half. New Orleans summer. That's SUMMAH. New Orleans summer is here. Forget about summer solstice. What's the rest of the country? North of the Mason-Dixon, like June 20th or something. Summer's starting. My sister lives in Virginia, like a couple of hours outside of D.C. They get like 90 days of fall, 90 days of winter, 90 days of spring, 90 days of summer, 90 days of fall. I mean, I'm telling you, like clockwork. Now, it might vary a little bit, but that's essentially what they're getting. They get 4 full seasons and nothing too extreme. They get a little bit of the extremes. They might get to 90 a few days, high 90s, mid 90s, something like that. A couple of days in the summer, like, wow, heat wave. And then they might get some snow or some ice or whatever for like a week straight. It's like, wow, nor'easter type stuff, but it's not every year. But yeah, we get summer and non-summer. That's pretty much what we get down here. Anyway, the summer's here, I think, huh? The mayor's office releasing a statement just regarding today's restraining order hearing. It's being moved to next month. It was 9 a.m. this morning. This woman, Ann Broad, I guess, Broad, B-R-E-A-U-D, Broad, bro, silent D, like Django, the D is silent. I know that. Anyway, she and bro filed a counterclaim against the mayor directly across the street from Tableau Restaurant where that photo was taken. And if you notice, it's at balcony level because Ann Bro's house, apartment, she lives directly across the street from that balcony. The mayor says Brode is stalking her, essentially, snapping photos, 800 hours of video. I don't know where all these statistics come from. And then you've got to be the attorney that backs it up. That just has to suck. Anyway, I guess you're getting paid. You'll sit there and listen to anything. On this day in 2000, 24 years ago today, Jazzland opened in New Orleans East. Jazzland opened in New Orleans East. 3 years of Jazzland, the 2000 summer, the summer of 01, and the summer of 02. And Jazzland struggled. They didn't really have any financial wherewithal. They'd done all they could do, and the park didn't take off like a rocket ship. But then Six Flags came in, bought Jazzland, rebranded it a Six Flags park, brought in a Batman ride, the characters, made it a Six Flag themed park, and invested in it in 03, invested in it in 04, investing in it in 05. And then this little storm Katrina hit and Six Flags bailed and never, ever returned. Amazingly, 19 years after Hurricane Katrina, the beat up, blighted park, rides, buildings, it's all still there. I tweeted a few photos of it today and said, wow, look at Chernobyl. And I was like, oh, wait, no, that's the Six Flags site in the East, not Chernobyl. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you right. Lebanon's Cafes with you. I was there yesterday, my brother and my mom. Lamb chop, shish kebab. I got chicken shawarma. Chicken breasts on a rotisserie, thinly sliced. Some tabbouleh, a fried football kibbe, like a Lebanese meat pie. Lebanon's Cafe, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn. They're open right now. They're open till 9:30. Tonight, make it Lebanon's Cafe. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
River Cities Total Maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you on a Monday afternoon. HumaneLA.org is the website. Please donate to our Humane May fundraiser. Do it right now, please, and be generous. HumaneLA.org, trying to save cats and dogs, kittens and puppies. Trying to raise $10,000 for the great folks, the great animals that the folks are saving at the Humane Society of Louisiana. New Orleans summer is here. We're going to hook up with Oliver Tomas in a minute, New Orleans City Councilman, find out about Lincoln Beach. And I know they're going to put some security out there. The East in general. Other things going on with the council. Speaking of city government, the mayor was supposed to be in court today at 9 a.m. That restraining hearing, they moved it back a month. Ann Brode, the woman that snapped the photo, who lives across the street from Tableau Restaurant, the now famous photo, infamous photo of the mayor and Officer Vappy. Vappy yet again reassigned because of this photo, video evidence type stuff. The mayor claiming Brode stalks her, lots of photos, popping up all over the place, 800 hours of video, on and on and on. Red Lobster filing for bankruptcy. I think I went into a Red Lobster and I bought some of those biscuits one time to try the Cheddar Bay biscuit or whatever, which was pretty good. But I've never eaten anything else at a Red Lobster. Do you go to national chains locally? Do you go to national chains locally? I remember I was at LSU when like Subway was gaining traction nationwide. It was 30 years ago plus. And I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, who would go? Subway's not going to come here. And if they came here, who would go to a Subway? And then all of a sudden I'm at LSU and Subways start popping up. College students are eating them like crazy. I went one time. I was just like, why would I eat this when I can go get a po' boy somewhere? There's a lot of good po' boy restaurants in Baton Rouge. You know, I'm LSU student right there on campus. Why am I going to Subway? So I never kind of figured out how like Subway, you know, caught on. But then like a Red Lobster, I kind of thought the same thing. I've never eaten at a Red Lobster. But I'm like, I'm in New Orleans. I'm going to go get the fresh shrimp or trout or whatever. But convenience and all kind of different other stuff is involved. Do you hit those national chain type places? Corey Johnson with you on a Monday. Young's Dry Cleaning's been with you since 1940. If you are tired with your dry cleaner and want to experience the best in the city, a New Orleans institution for 84 years, youngsdrycleaning.com. Oliver Tomas, New Orleans City Councilman, maybe the city's best, next mayor, I should say. Can't say best mayor, hadn't been mayor yet. Next mayor joins us on the program. How you doing, Oliver?
What you say, Dr. K, man? How you doing, young fella?
Doing well. Yourself?
Man, doing good, man. Just, you know, doing what we do with these kids in the evening. It's almost summertime, so we're planning camp and getaways and all that kind of extra stuff. And my son's in the car asking me, what are they going to do at summer camp? I'm, you know, hey, man, different stuff. Well, what exactly? I said, so I told him, I told him, Corey, I said, ask your mama. So, man, just doing what we do.
You give me hope, Oliver. You got me by a few years, and you got a young tot. So a divorced man like myself might be able to remarry and have a kid.
Let me say this to you. We can keep going. Hey, you know, look, you know, there's that 1 million percentage chance if he reaches where he's got to go, bam, it's on.
Well, you just got me by a few years, so I could handle that. We don't need that Robert De Niro, Al Pacino thing, like, you know, great grandfather with a 2-month-old. I don't want to be 89 with a 2-month-old. That's a little strange.
No. Look, I caught it from my cousin, and you can catch it from me. So, but don't wait too much longer.
I'm beyond my control. Just I'm sure, like it was for you. You didn't know it was on the horizon.
Hey, come on. Definitely beyond my control, young man. Definitely.
Hey, before that's how love and all that works. Before we get into the East, your district, and all that stuff, on a serious note, when do you make a decision on if you run for mayor or not? Is it just so far off, or is it, hey man, if I'm really considering it, I want to do it early to get a jump start? When do you even?
Well, look, the work speaks for itself, right? And I represent District E, and I'm really focused on that, especially given the severity of the projects we have right now. We've done a great job rebranding. Right now, District E has some of the lowest crime statistics in the city right now. And as you notice, most of the shootings now happen downtown and uptown and around the quarter. Now, it's not like it used to be in New Orleans East. And when the police chief said at a press conference, they're experiencing some all-time lows, especially within the last decade. I appreciate that, as well as the several new businesses that we've opened. Finally a lease. So let's see what happens with Six Flags. And then, of course, Lincoln Beach is fully funded, and the master plan is ongoing. We got the money for the walkway, so that that's going to happen.
How about a decision on mayor or not?
Yeah, well, you never want to take anything for granted. You want to look at some polling, see what your favorabilities are. What you want to do may not be what the people want to do, but let me say, when the time comes, and that'll probably be about 11, 12 months out, we'll take a look at what the polling says and then look at the work we have done, sit down and talk to encouragers and supporters and my family and make a decision. But I'm just honored by the fact that people would even consider me. And I would love to have the opportunity, man, to lead this town and put us in a position to actually change the direction and make the city what it's supposed to be, the best city in this country.
I mentioned, your personal life just lightly, having a kid at your age, and you're just a little older than me. You did that before, so this is like the second time around. This is sort of interesting, Oliver. Like 15 years ago, 18 years ago, you were in this exact same position.
Yeah. But Corey, that's no other reporters really talked to me. Only one reporter, I think it was Rob Masson, when I got elected this time, asked me, what's the difference about serving now and serving before? And there were a couple of things that came to mind when you talk about the position. How much lack of institutional knowledge we have in government at every level. And then the work ethic. Corey, you'll remember from covering us and your dad, man, folks, we would sometimes we'd be at City Hall till 12, 1 o'clock in the morning all day, just with the old Joe Geruso and Jim Singleton and Peggy and Susie and and even the former mayor just working hard. That's a little different now. Politics is a little different now, but as a man, I can tell you, it's strictly family first. Probably one of the most sobering conversations I ever had was with my oldest daughter in my first marriage, and her explaining that the most important thing to her, wasn't our financial security, wasn't my job, wasn't my title, but the time I spent with her. And in many cases, the things that hurt her the most was a lot of times when meetings and would get in the way of that. And so I'm a lot more conscious of that now, man. Thank you for asking.
Hey, the council is really a part-time job. You might make it full-time, but the mayor's gig is a full-time job, right?
Well, let me say this. I worked for Jim Singleton. I worked under the late Joe Geruso, Dorothy Taylor. I worked under people like Peggy, worked with Mark Murray, our concert, whatever people think about him. He was 24/7. And you remember Jim's slogan was still working. I don't know what part-time is. I've never approached anything I've done as part-time. And it ain't never been part-time to me, I can tell you that.
So from what you do now to being mayor, the clock would be the same. It's not like, oh, no, I'm even more committed, or it's like I'm as committed as I can be now.
So if you think about the people who know me, I actually love what I do, right? I don't, there's some things I don't like about it, but it's kind of given the time we're in. But I love what I do. And I think that what I've learned to do is manage it a little better with my family and know when to say no. But also the thing, Corey, that I do now is that, and if you watch my social media page or see me, a lot of times you'll see my family or kids with me. They don't have to be excluded from what we do politically. And I'm a lot more conscious. No, but I don't know what part-time is. My father didn't raise us to do anything part-time. You put your all in it.
It's interesting, just the dynamic of the whole thing. You were pretty humble back then. You're still humble now, but being older and more experienced, I would imagine ego and things of that don't mean as much.
It really does. It really doesn't, right? Hey man, you really got your interview. Genius interview cap on, right? I tell folks there are a couple of phases that happen in life, right? The first time my daughter, when I thought I was young and sharp and debonair, and my daughter, man, when she was crawled on my chest one morning, and one Saturday morning we were at the house, and my oldest daughter, she crawled on my chest and she said, "Daddy, you look funny." So anything I thought about whoever Dashing Oliver ex-athlete was gone, right? And then, so move that forward to this part of my life. No, man, the most important thing is faith, family, friends, and with my job for my city. How I feel, my ego, doesn't really mean a thing at all, to be honest with you.
Hey, Oliver, hang on. I'm going to knock out a quick break. We'll come back and talk about Lincoln Beach and Gordon Park and a bunch of other stuff, too. Oliver Tomas is with us, New Orleans City Councilman, District E. Probably the favorite to be the next mayor.
Day Spa with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe. For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Welcome back. Monday afternoon in New Orleans. New Orleans City Councilman Oliver Tomas is with us. Hey, Oliver, why do you guys allow the junkets to take place? Seriously, it's obnoxious. It's no one in the city believes in it. The mayor knows it's total BS. She's just taking advantage of the situation over and over again. And there's not a single dollar or job that's being created from any of these international trips. It doesn't benefit New Orleans. It costs taxpayers money. I mean, if there was anyone else in city government, and you guys control the budget, that was just abusing city government to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars every time they did this little gimmick, and the gimmick's like every few weeks, every few months, you guys would stop it. I don't understand why the junkets continue. That the $1,000 limit seemed like a good plan, and then you guys abandoned that. Why are we allowing the mayor of the city of New Orleans to go on these junkets over and over again, and there's never any sign that they benefit the city? Not any sign ever.
Well, I don't know that we're allowing it. I mean, every mayor that I've ever known went on trips abroad, D.C., around the country, around the world. As I sat back and studied the history of it, you can go all the way back to Morrison extensively. And of course, all of the most recent mayors have represented our city around the world. Now, in terms of the frequency, that's not something that I would do. And when you talk about the budget, collectively, the council did say something. We did pass some new restrictions and guidelines on it. But for me, knowing the history of travel and mayors, and I don't know how you quantify jobs, sister city agreements. I would hope that we would benefit it the same way people come here. We host dignitaries here every week, elected officials, mayors, governors, presidents of nations, and they bring their delegations and they bring their people here. And so the two others, conferences, conventions, are just coming here to New Orleans because we're a tourism mecca, a tourism draw. That's not something I've wanted to focus on, given the fact that I understand the history of it. Now, is it excessive? I wouldn't travel as much, and I haven't done anything to quantify or to compare it to how much other mayors have traveled. I just know they did. That's the mayor's preference and her choice. I've tried to focus on other things. You see the work we're doing with the new police chief in terms of overall crime, the stuff I focus on my district. The Pentalba and her travel, and maybe, maybe that's just me. The two main things on my agenda, on my radar. And that's just speaking for me.
I think the things that you're talking about are bigger and more important. There's no doubt. Those are, bricks and mortar type thing. This is just more of irritation and, when things need to be getting done, I think people just get a little, disillusioned. Hey, opposite end of the spectrum, any movement with the governor? Have you spoken with the governor? You feel better about what he's doing?
Yeah, well, him and I texted during the Louisiana Legends thing. We talked. I missed him at the event. I was hoping that we could have a talk. But actually, things are kind of working out, and it makes me think maybe you had some kind of inside information when we spoke earlier, when everybody was in alarm. And if you'll remember, I think you kind of said, things kind of have a way of balancing themselves and evening themselves out, and maybe some of the scare and some of the alarm in some areas, maybe it was justified, but maybe that was just to get people's attention. I'm starting to see some of that now, that the checks and balances of government are kind of taking shape, whether it's with our delegation, Cameron Henry, who's someone that I got a really good relationship, maybe really, I don't know. So it seems to be working out, Corey, so I think you called it right.
Oliver Tomas is with us, New Orleans City Councilman. Hey, Oliver, you mentioned a little while ago Lincoln Beach, the walkway. Yeah. That's the elevated, kind of like, I say, a duplication of Crescent Park, right? Two towers with a bridge and elevators and stairs on either side.
Yeah, absolutely, and safe. As a matter of fact, I guess I can share with the audience now that there's a whole potential plan to take a look at the entire of Haynes Boulevard, which is a state highway, and make it one lane. That'll make it safer for pedestrians. It'll eliminate some of the drag racing and activity that happens there at night. And so it's really kind of opened this stuff up, man. A lot of people are purchasing property in that area and in New Orleans East now. A lot of prominent folk whose names I won't release, but they're on the roads for buying up land. They're kind of speculating and getting in front of what's going to happen in that Lincoln Beach area, as well as around 5, 10, and Six Flags. Got a lot. There's a lot of opportunity now starting to open up. So I'm just looking forward to the future and to the promise of that area.
Oliver, how's this Johnson guy when he's driving by Hain past the slow driver if it's one lane in each direction?
Yeah, hey, well, that's going to be his problem, right?
Oh, that Johnson guy just wants to get by. That's all he wants to do, Oliver.
hey, look, Corey, sometimes the people don't want to obey the law. Sometimes you got to make them, right?
That Johnson guy, he gets irritated by Convention Center Boulevard now because it's one lane.
Unless he wants to just run head on into somebody, hey, bro. Yeah, you got to wait till the next light, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, don't get me started on the lights on Hain, all right? There's no synchronization. They're too long by Lake Castle. Come on, let's go.
No, you forgot Crowder, right? Where I live, right? The lights used to be synchronized where you can, one will go and one will change. Now it's not, right? So let's get the lights at least synchronized. But yeah, you didn't mention the fact that for the last several months, contrary to what people say, the lights have been on in New Orleans East on the interstate, more so than by the Dome, more so than by Carrollton. So, hey, man, we let there be light. We lit up now.
Nice. I like that. And that's a good point, Oliver. Hey, Lincoln Beach, when do you break ground potentially on this nearly $30 million project? It's the parking lot, it's the bridge, and it's obviously the beach itself.
Well, the working and clearing the parking lot has started already. The master plan advisors and the team, they're working on the bridge. But one of the steps that has to happen is the utilities that the levee board and levee management took out. We got to put those utilities so the water can drain. Got to make sure it's safe Corey, you got alligators and water moccasins and all
I'm
kinds
sure.
of stuff back up in there in those little ponds because the water didn't drain.
No, it's
water, right?
It's their pond now. It's been a pond for a long time.
Yeah, it's their pond now. So we got to deal with that. One of the things that Sage Michael talked about was creating a culture in Arch Park while we're waiting for the other stuff to be done. So the committee, the Bliss, and that whole committee that's been formed right now, they're doing their work. But the work's happening, man. There are meetings every week, every month on the design and on how do we go from one phase to the next. So look, that's just a matter of time. Let's hope it's sooner than later. But I'm hoping 18 months, folk will be out there at the beach.
I'm kind of geeky, Oliver. Two things. I like those old triangular parking lot signs, like the two that are still there. I think, A, you need to keep them, and B, you need to wrap some like orange, wrap about 5 feet around them, outside them, like an oak tree. Like, hey, demolition guys, don't come near these. The old parking, the old parking signs on Hain, the ones that ramp up. It's 2 poles going up with the old lit up sign, I guess, that said parking or Lincoln Beach or something. I'd get some old photos and get some sign company to duplicate exactly how it looked in the 50s and early 60s.
I think that's a great suggestion. How much of that, the natural signage and the natural landscape, can we keep to kind of duplicate that? Because, I know Lincoln Beach because of my mom telling me about it. And, before Katrina, they had a bunch of old pictures of her and her family at the beach with the signs. And, during Katrina, we lost all of that, a lot of that memorabilia. So that's a great idea.
Yeah, because those the 2 poles together at the bottom, ramping up like a big V. There are at least 2 of those in the parking lot that exist that said parking here, Lincoln Beach, whatever. 2 of those are still there. So, and if they're still there, they're brick, what houses, harder to tear down than to keep. So keep them and, get some sign people. And, I don't know how many buildings I don't know if there's anything that you can salvage on the beach side. Is there, Oliver?
That's going to be tough. You got some of those areas where they used to do the concert.
Maybe like some foundations and some slabs you might keep.
A lot of that stuff subsided. There's a lot of deterioration. A lot of that's going to have to be, unfortunately, a lot of that's going to have to be moved.
Hang on one second, Oliver. Can you for one quick segment?
I'm on my way to walk the beach with the chief. So, I can hold on for a second.
All right, we're coming right back and we'll wrap it up. Got a few more questions. Oliver Tomas is with us. Don't move, New Orleans.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you. It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
New Orleans City Councilman Oliver Tomas is still with us. Hey, Oliver, where are you walking the beat with the chief? And how do you think the chief is doing?
Well, I mean, if you read the article, she's really earned my respect. She's been real consistent and committed and done proactive policing. I mean, I've really, really grown to have a lot of respect for her and her ability as a commander.
What's going on at Gordon Park?
Well, Gordon Park was where they bought out the people who were they built these houses on a dump site.
Well, I know all that stuff. I know most of it's abandoned. I know they're getting about $350 a house.
Yeah.
What's why the security? What's the concern that you just don't want people in that area?
Yeah, as people begin to move, you want to make sure that vandals and vagrants don't begin to set up. One of the issues we have in this country right now are these encampments where it's almost like traveling groups of vagrants say, hey, this area seems to be neglected or folk are leaving. We'll take it. No.
The houses are getting torn down immediately, though, right, when they're bought?
Yeah, but look, one of the challenges right now, Corey, are people are moving in houses. If they're vacant too long, you got folks setting up, man. I just a real life incident not too long ago with someone. Man, they were in the middle of transitioning from a vacant house to a new tenant. They got a new tenant, all right, but it wasn't the ones they were expecting.
They pulled an Eddie Murphy from 48 Hours. They moved into the people's house that were out of town for a while. Wow.
Yeah. Exactly right.
So is
the police department over to get them out?
And I'm guessing Gordon Plaza neighborhood's too large to fence off, right? And that's not going to do anything anyway.
No, you're going to have a
guard,
security or police presence, a guard.
Yep.
And hope that works. To be honest with you.
Yeah, you should just put a little police substation right there, something temporarily. I don't know. Hey,
something.
Oliver, this is private sector stuff, but you're a leader in the East. I would implore, is it Goodwill or United Way, to abandon the Lowe's idea and tell them, look, guys, you don't need to be on the interstate. No one sees your building and, I'm going to go get something. It's people that are looking for your place. So you don't need to be in a prime location. That old Schwegman store, it's almost as nice as the Lowe's. It's about as big as the Lowe's, the one off Bullard in the back. That would be a perfect United Way, Goodwill, whatever's moving into the Lowe's. And because people go seek it out, Oliver, and then the Lowe's is on the interstate. It needs to be something that people would see and get attracted to. Plus, I think United Way, Goodwill, whatever's moving in there, they're going to generate a few $1,000,000. It's going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes. The Lowe's site could be a game changer for the Plaza site.
Well, I second that motion. To be honest, we had those conversations early on, but Goodwill bought the building. But Target still isn't out of the game. Other national brands are still looking at the East. And, of course, the more success we have, like we have 3 new restaurants that are doing really well, other businesses that are locating. So, I agree with that. I mean, I wish we could have been more convincing about them finding an alternative location, but that's not the case now. But we got a meeting coming up with Jeff Schwartz over Economic Development, the owners of the Plaza site. We're going to keep being aggressive about getting some other stuff to happen. Look, I got to walk. The Chiefs is looking at me right now. We're getting ready to start walking the beat in the Bunker Hill area. So we're right here at Bunker Hill Road.
Oliver, thanks for the extended stay today.
All right, then Chief said to tell you hello. See, right here, Chief Kilpatrick. All right, Corey.
Tell her I said hello. Thank you, Oliver.
I will. All right, man. Bless you, man. All right.
That's Oliver Tomas. All right, Chief. And Kirkpatrick. Good.
All right, Corey.
All right, you guys have a good walk.
Having a party.
All right.
I like that. I wish I had time to get out there. Oliver Tomas and Ann Kirkpatrick walking the beat. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday. Yeah, I was supposed to have Oliver on for 2 segments, and I dragged him into 3. And I wasn't trying to. I kind of just ran out of time there, Corporal, and asked him when it was we were right up against the clock. It was sort of pressure. I apologize for that, Oliver, but thanks for sticking around. Literally up to where the chief was like, let's go. Hey, our Humane May fundraiser going on. Please donate right now, humanela.org. Let's save some cats and dogs, kittens and puppies, humanela.org. Latrim, the global manufacturing giant, is hiring. They're looking for you. Are you looking for a new job, a new career? Go to the website, latrim.com. You'll be blown away at what they do. They're a worldwide manufacturing giant. Incredible. Latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M. Latrim.com. Here's the problem with Jeff Landry in a nutshell. The New Orleans Levee Board, which actually is a fairly legitimate board, believe it or not. Civic-minded people. If you look at the board members, most of them do not need to be on that board. They do not benefit from being on the board. Honestly, it is civic-minded. Some of these board members are getting taken away from wife or husband or family, kids, to be on the board. That's what civic duty is about. It's a sacrifice. It's not to benefit, to make money, to make connections. So many political hacks in Louisiana, they run on the whole wrong idea. Ego, they want to be powerful. They want to manipulate the Hilario, Heitmeyer, Bill Jefferson, that scenario, Edwin Edwards. No, but then you have some true civic-minded people that literally sacrifice. They could be making more money if they were at work, spend more time with family and either kids, wife, husband, whatever. Jeff Landry refuses to name an expert to the New Orleans Levee Board. He wants to put somebody that is a yes person that isn't an expert on the Levee Board, but will be easily manipulated. He wants to control that board, take away the board's autonomy. That's a nightmare. That's politics at its worst. We'll talk about that and more next.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here. delivering Louisiana's future. At the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Ford F-150, number one seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became number one for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
It seems today that all you see is violence in movies and sex on TV.
But where are those good old-fashioned values?
I haven't watched any Family Guy probably in a year or so. But I could land on it tonight and watch 15, 20 minutes. All of a sudden, I'm hearing this a couple of times. I'm like, Corey, you've watched at least 30 plus minutes. 2 intros have played. At least 30 minutes. You're catching the tail end of one, intro plays, you're watching an entire episode, and then the intro plays. You're like, Corey, got to move on, dude. Pretty funny stuff. Family Guy's creative. If Simpsons is like, wow, he just shot the television and he was Elvis Presley, that's hysterical. If that's Simpsons level, like on a 1 to 10, it was pretty damn cutting edge Simpsons. I'd say on like a 1 to 10, that's about like an 8 as far as cutting edge. Family Guy would be about a 20 on a 1 to 10 scale. And South Park would be about a 500. South Park's absolutely insane. I haven't watched a whole lot of South Park, but I'm watching one episode and it's just about the gay teacher at the school, and he's trying to come up with a way to get fired so he can sue the school district and make all this money and just live happily with his gay lover. And the school teacher's just like a regular looking guy, looks like anybody. His gay lover is motorcycle leather dude, with chaps and the vest with no pants on underneath the chaps, no shirt on underneath the vest, the leather hat, the chains, the whole 9 yards. Then there's a sub story. Are you familiar with this episode, Corporal? The sub story with Mr. Tiddlywinks or whatever, the
Garrison or something.
I don't even want to talk about it anymore. It's too much information.
It's so weird.
But there was a sub story within the main story about Mr. Tiddlywinks, this little rodent, and that's all we're going to talk about. We're going to move on.
Oh man,
it is. Hey, Corporal, why don't you just run the controls and be quiet? We're moving on. No comments. We try to keep it a clean show. I never wanted to go to the kind of Howard Stern, like TNA, lesbian stories, like Penthouse lesbians, that kind of nonsense, strippers and all that. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not talking about women's chest size and just that. The lowest common denominator. I mean, you go do that at the bar. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not like some prude. I'm ready to take on any topic. I just don't. If that's the topic, hey, do you want to discuss that on your talk radio show or not? No, I don't. And I'm not a prude or anything. Ready to take on any topic, anytime. That's just, you're choosing to. It'd be like sometimes it's funny. It's just today. You have all these podcasts. Some of the podcasts are like mine, like I'm a radio TV guy and I happen to have a podcast. Some of these TV and radio guys that have the podcast, every 5th word on their podcast is the F-bomb. Like, wow, I'm on the podcast now. I'm not on radio or television. I can curse. It's like, okay, enough of the cursing. We know all the curse words. You're going way overboard with the cursing. And then throw in a little alcohol during the podcast, which I guess podcasts have it's not like television or radio where I can't get drunk and come on the air. Hey, boozing up. This is vodka. By the time we hit 5, that's me. I can't do that. I'd be off the air. Podcast, I could face plant on the mic and it'd be run the rest of the 30 minutes of me. Check out Johnson. He's so hammered. He just passed out on the mic. might get good ratings or viewers or clicks or likes or thumbs up. Anyway, no, that's what I noticed on a lot of the podcasts, just drinking on the air and cursing a lot. Oh. I mean, I watch Bill Maher like on Friday. There's some like curse words used, but they're sort of like applicable to like it's used in its proper context for emphasis. And I guess if I were ridiculously intellectual, like insane level, I probably wouldn't curse so much because there'd be so many more vocabulary words in my head. But just at the level of my intelligence, curse words, I think are, and being a Yaddy New Orleanian, curse words have a lot of effect and they get to the point real quickly and no nonsense and all of that. All right, let's move on. 89 and sunny out there. 53% humidity, thank goodness, because it feels like low 90s. I'm telling you, last night at like 7:30, like the sun was mostly down. The air was not moving. You could drop a feather and it would have dropped straight down to the ground. It would not have moved from your hand to the ground, straight down, linear, like on a string. The wind was non-existent. The humidity was off the charts. It was like 87 degrees temperature at like 7:30, 7:45 last night. I went and walked my dog like 2 blocks. I cut the walk short. I'm just sweating through my clothes, just stifling heat. Like, I'm like, damn, this is brutal. And like right now, it's 2 degrees hotter, but the humidity level is probably like 30% less. And there's a slight breeze, like maybe even a mile or two, like the wind's blowing a little. I'm telling you, that was just brutal. I was like, oh boy, summer's here. No rain in sight. Low to mid 70s to start the day. High 80s, low 90s. This is like the next 5, 7, 10 days, like next week, week and a half. No rain in sight. New Orleans summer has arrived. Speaking of, you need air conditioning help. River City's Total Maintenance is there. Honest air conditioning experts that come immediately. What more do you need? Seriously. Honest air conditioning experts that come immediately. NOLAAC.com. That's all you need to know. NOLAAC.com. Jeff Landry refusing to name an expert to the New Orleans Levee Board. It's just not right. It's post-Katrina levees. It's a whole new ball game. We learned a lesson from Katrina when politics and BS and nonsense are involved. You get a flooded out city. So Jeff Landry playing politics to the hilt. This woman, this engineer that the East District Levee Board has nominated is a pro. It has an outstanding resume. Probably going to lose her now because Jeff Landry wants to appoint someone that has no knowledge of levees, someone that's going to play along with him. There's some game being played here. There's money involved. We can shift money from levees to this. We can do it, build a cheaper levee. Something's involved where Governor Landry doesn't want to do the obvious thing. I mean, my God, you're governor. You have all these appointees. You think you'd be like, man, the Eastern Levee Board, these are a bunch of experts. It's a bunch of civic-minded people. They're not political at all. Most of them are sacrificing to be on this board. They truly care about New Orleans. Go Google the board, look up the members. They come up with an expert, someone with a fantastic levee resume, and the governor doesn't want her. Because the governor wants someone that will be a yes person to the governor when he wants to do something contrary to what the experts think. Now, that's the problem with Jeff Landry. He has his own agenda. A lot of it is, I don't believe in medical doctors. I don't believe in science. I don't believe in just things that folks believe in. Has a brother that's gay. He's homophobic. They don't recognize him. He's very isolated. It's a horse with blinders on. He only sees what's in front of him, lacks empathy, doesn't want to understand the other side, just hands up, backing up if you're going to explain something that's so obvious and so contrary to what he thinks and proves he's totally incorrect. Hey, you keep thinking the earth's round. I'm going with flat. We'll agree to disagree kind of gimmick. But worse, an agenda that's politically driven. Now, I'm going to trust these civic-minded folks on the board and their selection there. The history of their selections has been good post-Katrina. Engineering experts, not political hacks, not John Ilario's kid, not a Heitmeyer, not Edwin Edwards' brother, not Bill Jefferson's cousin, legitimate people that deserve the gig. And it's our levees. This isn't some game. It's our levees. Hurricane season's coming. And Jeff Landry's playing political games right now that we can't afford, none of us. Go with the Eastern District Levy Board's recommendation. The engineering expert, Jeff Landry. Bring in the pro. Hire the woman that is qualified for the gig. Don't bring in some political hack, some yes man.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com. Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
You right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. 5 o'clock power hour on a Monday afternoon. If you missed the 4 o'clock hour, an extended stay, about 35 good minutes with Oliver Tomas, New Orleans City Councilman, talking about a slew of topics. Him running for mayor, how is he getting along with Jeff Landry, allowing Mayor LaToya Cantrell's junkets, Lincoln Beach, Gordon Plaza neighborhood, a little bit on the lows. Didn't even get to the Six Flags side or Mackey Studios across from the plaza. No ground being broken there. No ground broken, no shovels in the dirt at Six Flags yet. Lincoln Beach looks to be a go. All the money lined up, including the bridge over Hain. They're talking about essentially a duplication of what you see at Crescent Park, if you've ever been down there. There are 2 towers, I'm going to say 3 stories tall, on either side of the train tracks and the flood wall. And you enter a door and you can take the steps to the top, 3 stories to the top of the tower, or get in an elevator. And then when you get to the top, there's a linear bridge that connects to the tower on the other side of the train tracks and flood wall. So it's 2 towers with a linear bridge going across with elevators or stairs. It's pretty cool. That's what they're going to basically do from the parking lot on Hain, over the 4 lanes of Hain, over the flood wall, over the train tracks, and another tower coming down on Lincoln Beach property. And there'll be stairs and an elevator, maybe 2, to get people over Hain Boulevard. Oliver Tomas did talk about this, and I'm not into this. I don't know. I mean, I get why they want to do it. And it probably will make the area much more pedestrian friendly, because Hain Boulevard is almost like a highway. People do fly down there. I mean, people do 70, 80, 90 miles an hour sometimes. I'm not kidding you, like insane driving. Oliver Tomas is talking about making Hain 1 lane in each direction. I mean, if you do that, you almost have to have like the Causeway Bridge with those shoulders, those emergency shoulders. You almost need like a little 1/8 of a mile passing zone. You can pass right here, in case there's a slow drive or something. I don't know. You know how people are. They'd just accelerate if you tried to pass them and then slow back down again. That's the weirdest phenomenon in driving, isn't it? When you can manipulate another person driving. Like you get behind them, they slow down. You try to pass them, they speed up. I don't know about you. I'll look in the rear view mirror. Someone's barreling up my rear end. Guess what I do? I get over to the right and let them pass. Not trying to teach them a lesson or I'm doing the speed limit. What are you doing, crazy driver? None of that crap. I let them pass. I don't know. Maybe they're going to the hospital. Maybe a woman's giving birth in the car. Maybe they're just some idiot speeding. Maybe they're drunk and on drugs. I have no idea. I'm not judging. How am I going to figure that out? I just get out of the way. They're barreling up on me. Anyway, Hain Boulevard could be 1 lane in each direction and room for like a bike path and pedestrian friendly and easier to cross, probably a lowered speed limit. That's just some talk. I don't know how you can't widen it. You've got levee and flood wall, train tracks on one side, neighborhood on the other. I don't know how you could widen Hain where you keep 2 lanes in each direction and have it, bicycle pedestrian friendly. It seems like you'd have to do like Convention Center Boulevard, One lane in each direction, a larger neutral ground median, cobblestone, pedestrian, bicycle, walker friendly, that kind of thing. Anyway, Oliver Tomas joined us to talk about a bunch of stuff, and we didn't get to a bunch of stuff. Have to get him on in the next few weeks to talk about the Six Flags site. It's like 3 years later and no shovels in the ground yet. That Buc-ee's in Mississippi is going to open in like 3-4 months. Yeah, that's the great thing. Like when you bring in like a real company that it's like what they do for a living. Like Buc-ee's or Flying J Truck Stop or Bass Pro Shops Cabela's. That's what they do. Troy Henry does 20 different things. I'm not knocking Troy Henry. Troy Henry's very successful. Troy Henry has the custodial contract at the airport. The airport contracted it out to a winning bidder that is in the airport, bathroom cleaning business. They did a, pun intended, crappy job, so they cut the contract with them, and then Troy Henry stepped up and took over the contract. $1.5 million, something like that. Supposedly the airport's spotless. The bathrooms are always clean. Supposedly that's the reputation. So that's great. But I'm just saying he does a lot of things. He has his hands in many things. Anything that can be where you can make money, profit, he's going to go do. And then he'll go get experts or people that know how to do it and let them do the job if he knows nothing about it. Six Flags is sort of like that. It's not Troy Henry winging it. He's got a plan. He's got an idea. He's got an investment group out of Dallas with him. But it is not a big sense of urgency. There's no pressure. It's not like there's competition. I mean, Troy Henry's group won this, Bayou Phoenix. Drew Brees and Demario Davis, the existing Saints linebacker, they were runner-ups for the Six Flags site. Do I even need to say any more? Bass Pro Shops Cabela's edged out Buc-ee's and Flying J Truck Stop for the Six Flags. I mean, that would have been something. A month later, there'd be test piles in the ground. 3 months later, they'd be building. And right now, you'd go by there and go, my God, what a sense of urgency. They really want to get this thing open. Go to Mississippi. The Menge exit, even Diamond Head, widening it, all that. Diamond Head has been desperate for sound walls to block out the interstate noise because they're expanding the interstate. Guess what? They're getting sound walls. I noticed the little junior models in Kenner. What's up, Kenner? In Metairie, it's like a 15-foot, 20-foot sound wall. By the airport in Kenner, they're like 10 feet high, half the height. Like half the height. It's the concrete. It's but like half the height. No, you have to expand the interstate to get sound wall money from the feds. That's why if you notice where the interstate jogs north, I-10 jogging north, in between Chef Highway and Morrison out in the east, you come over the high rise, you're going due east. Then all of a sudden you jog north for a good mile or two, a mile and a half. And then it hooks and you're going east again at Morrison. That area there, A, so desperate for sound walls because there's a neighborhood there, and B, it's kind of an unsightly neighborhood. It doesn't look that good on the interstate. It doesn't shine a good light on New Orleans, that stretch. It's a lot of beat up housing, hodgepodge, mismatch, chain link fence, just doesn't look good. There should be like Metairie, 20-foot sound wall. Can't even see it. And those neighbors don't have to deal with the interstate. But you have to expand the interstate to get the sound wall. And then you only get the sound wall where residential is. Look at Metairie. You'll see gaps in the sound wall. That's because it goes from residential to commercial to businesses. But then right away, when it goes back to where people live, the sound wall's back up. No, New Orleans East, where it jogs north in between Chef and Morrison, got this little the almost like construction temporary type stuff. It's permanent, but it's about a 3-foot high wall. And then it's got a little chain link fence hooked to the top. It's not a sound wall at all. But what would be nice, since you've got that little railing, that little 3-foot wall, if you notice in Metairie, the sound wall on the bridges is like these metal panels. Looks like some anodized aluminum panel or something that's bolted to the concrete railing of the interstate. And then that aluminum panel, metal panel of sound wall is maybe, I don't know, 10 feet, 12 feet. And it's bolted to the railing. Maybe they could do that, like get some funding somehow to do that. Block out the sound, block out the view, all of that right there. And bolt it to the railing thing on that on the side of the interstate. Speaking of the East, on this day in 2000, 24 years ago, Jazzland opened in the East. Jazzland for 3 years, Six Flags for 3 years, then Katrina, and for the last 19, the beat-up blighted park rides, buildings, still there. I posted some photos and said, unbelievable photos of Chernobyl. And I was like, whoops, that's actually the Six Flags site in the East. Corey Johnson with you. Hey, I've got some $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse can be yours. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. 766-9480. Hey, where was the first Smoothie King located? You familiar with Smoothie King? The healthy alternative, Smoothie King Center. Where was the first Smoothie King located? Give me the answer to that. I've got 50 big bucks for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. 2 separate questions. Where was the first Popeyes location? Where was the second Popeyes location? Got the answer to either one of those questions? I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse locations. 766-9480. That's how you dial us up. 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines. 766-9480. Which 2 Saints numbers are unofficially retired? Which 2 Saints numbers are unofficially retired? As far as I know, there's only 2, and they're unofficially retired. No one's wearing them. Give me the answer to that. And I've got 50 big bucks for you. Good at the Woodhouse. Hey, they did their bulk of their work right here in New Orleans. Name the 4 Saints NFL Hall of Famers. Name the 4 Saints NFL Hall of Famers. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. 766-9480 is the phone number. Love to hear from you. Hey, Katie's in Mid-City, as New Orleans as it gets. We had Scott Craig on the program on Friday, talking about Katie's, talking about Francesca, his deli over there in Lakeview. Katie's in Mid-City, the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant, old school New Orleans specialties and New Orleans characters. The neighborhood joint, Iberville, corner Tallahassee. Katie's in Mid-City. Red Lobster filing for bankruptcy. Do you go to any of the national chains that are local? 766-9480. I don't go to Applebee's or TGI Fridays or Chili's or any of those places, not in New Orleans. I don't go to P.F. Chang's or Fleming's in New Orleans. It's funny, when I go to the Florida Panhandle occasionally, there's a P.F. Chang's and a Fleming's past Destin, that Sandestin, Miramar Beach area. We'll go to P.F. Chang's and Fleming's when we're in Florida because the Florida Panhandle restaurants are terrible. But in New Orleans, I'm like, I'm not going to P.F. Chang's. I'm going to go to Crayon or get some Chinese on the West Bank or something. You know, if I'm in New Orleans, I'm not going to go to Fleming's. I'm going to go to name 10 other steakhouses with prime beef that I think are probably better than Fleming's. Although I got to say, I think a Fleming's prime steak today is better than a Ruth's Chris prime steak. Isn't it sad how far Ruth's Chris has fallen in quality? They're now owned by, I think, the Red Lobster folks. I think Red Lobster's Darden, aren't they? I think Darden owns Ruth's Chris. Yeah, locally, they got rid of Leidenheimer French bread at Ruth's Chris. I'm like, are you crazy? I tweeted to him, bring back the Leidenheimer. Bread is an important part of a meal in New Orleans. We look forward to it. It's not an afterthought or a secondary thing. And this is New Orleans, a food city. Do your little, crappy bread that you brought in. Do that everywhere else if you want. But in New Orleans, it's got to be Leidenheimer. And it really does. Leidenheimer French bread. Leidenheimer Baking Company since 1896. 5 generations, New Orleans owned and operated, baking the French bread here in New Orleans. Post-Katrina, they opened up a bakery in Baton Rouge. They just couldn't get it right. The water, whatever. So they're like, we're going to just stick with New Orleans. They send that bread now out to 20-plus states all across the Southeast. All of it's baked right here in New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread, Leidenheimer Baking Company. Another Martell Monday. Brett Martell's going to join us on Dar Flip Side. Coming right back on this 5 o'clock power hour Monday afternoon in New Orleans. Corey Johnson with you. Don't move.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us to you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole-Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. Because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you on a Monday afternoon. You heading home from work? You probably passed 2-3 Rouses in between work and the house. Over 60 Rouses. They've been at it over 60 years. Over 1/3 of all Rouses locations are in Metro New Orleans. How about that? 20 plus Rouses in Metro New Orleans, at least 7 in New Orleans, at least 4 or 5 in Metairie, a few on the West Bank, out in Kenner, 7 Rouses at least on the North Shore. Best quality, best price, best selection, Rouse's Markets, convenience. Martell Monday. Yep, it's that time of the week again. Brett Martell joins us from the Associated Press. How you doing, Brett?
I'm good, Corey.
Good to talk to you again, as usual. What's going on in the world of sports? What would you have? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different topics for you. What's the big one, Brett? Anything? Is there a big one right now? It's sort of a lull time.
New Orleans generally, but of course, this week is the first OTA. We'll get, involving both rookies and veterans for the Saints, and we'll get to see who voluntarily shows up. It would be news, for example, if Marshawn Lattimore showed up. Today they had the Saints Hall of Fame, charity golf classic to raise money for the Saints Hall of Fame. And Dennis Allen said that he had spoken to Marshawn in the last couple of weeks, and it was a productive conversation, and they're moving forward. But I don't know if that means they're planning to move forward with him actually playing this year, or they're just moving forward with him, trying to be a good member of the team until such time as they're able to find a trade partner that they like, or what. But, if he's there, we'll see. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk to him, although we hardly spoke to the media at all last season.
Brett, on kind of a different topic, the Saints are kind of struggling right now. They haven't had a lot of success post Drew Brees. It's a team in transition. They're trying to hang on to the old guard from the Brees era, some of the players, and inject new ones and hopefully take it back to that level. I was talking to a guy today, very knowledgeable of local sports, Saints, all that. It's kind of a shame. I mean, I'm being picky now. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate Gail Benson and the Saints organization as a New Orleanian, Brett. But Laney Schwest must be just beating himself up. 10 years ago or so was 2012, 2013, that Pelicans team was for sale. Schwest was going to buy it. I think he was around 330 million. Stern kept going up and up. I think Schwest had, I'm not going to go higher than this amount. He went above that amount. The NBA was struggling. A lot of teams weren't selling out. Value of teams weren't going up. The opposite. The team was at an all-time low in the last 20 years or so, or 30 years or so, about a dozen years ago, 10 years ago. And then finally, Schwest threw in the towel. And then Stern ended up, some California people were interested. He wanted local folks. He calls Gail Benson. The rest is history. She gets the team for about $350 million. It's worth more than $1.5 million today. So no one else can buy it. It's just too expensive. And I guess my final point, Brett, of all this, the Saints are the number one thing with Gail Benson and the Saints organization. The Gail Benson and the Saints organization, they own the Pelicans. Instead of Schwest owning the Pelicans, they'd be competing against each other. Their Saints are struggling. The Pelicans could be doing something else. So I always think it's going to be Saints are number one, clearly, and they own the Pelicans. The Pelicans will always be the B team no matter what.
Well, that's one way to look at it. I think really, though, what's going to happen is, as New Orleans evolves and the market for both sports evolves over time, and obviously the NBA is a global product, but I think we're getting to a point now where young adults in New Orleans have been watching the NBA in New Orleans their entire life, right? They've been here since 2002.
Yeah.
So it's 22 years. You have kids graduating from college who were born in New Orleans, who have never known anything but New Orleans has an NBA team, New Orleans is an NBA city, and now they're entering into adulthood, really. At least postgraduate, right?
Yep.
And soon will be the, up and coming people, and hopefully with ideas and businesses and everything in this town. And basketball seems to be a sport that attracts a younger audience. And, I don't know. We'll see. I think that what you said has been correct since the purchase of the Pelicans by the Bensons. But I think the NBA saw it as the only way to save New Orleans.
No. I totally agree with that. I think the problem is another owner, if there was blood in the water, they would go get it. And I think the Saints are like, we're going to protect the Saints. This would be a great time where Saints, I'm just hypothetical. Saints, popularity is waning because we're not good. The Pels are winning. Another owner would capitalize on that. I don't think the Saints ever would. They don't want to hurt the Saints to benefit the Pelicans. And having two owners, it would be competition. What's that, Brett? You're breaking up. What'd you say?
It's good in Los Angeles. I think there's competition among pro sports and, owners of good big markets. But I think they would bleed each other a little bit.
Oh, no, that could be part of the problem too. I know that there was talk of a senior PGA Tour event coming to New Orleans. They were going to play it at City Park. It was an Hilario gimmick to keep the Zurich from moving there. Oshner was sponsoring it. The senior PGA Tour was involved, and then I think 4 kids and the powers that be in the city were like, the pie's only so big. All you're going to do is take away from the Zurich, and that little bit of money is going to go to that senior event, and it never was realized, which is a shame. It was going to be in the fall, had it all lined up. But no, I get what you're saying, Brett, but they're both here. They're both here. And I know the pie's only so large, but I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe it could only work with one owner owning both teams in New Orleans. Maybe that's the only way it would work.
I think right now in New Orleans, it could only work, with one team because they share a lot of resources when it comes to marketing and front office. Basketball ops and football ops are totally separate, but the business side there's a lot of overlap.
No, that's right.
That helps.
Yep.
Both of them more profitable.
No, you're right. You're right. I just think you'd have a more competitive Pelicans team if it was owned by Schwest or someone, or an owner that, was focused on that exclusively. I just always think that it'll never be the primary thing. It'll never be equal to the Saints. It'll always be. I mean, the NFL is bigger than the NBA. So by default, it's always going to be the smaller thing. But I think even in another market where I think another owner would be like, we can capitalize on our football team struggling and boost our basketball team. They do that. I don't think they will never hurt the Saints to benefit the Pelicans. Never. And
probably not, but culturally, I mean, Louisiana's been more of a football state historically anyway. And the Saints have been here for over 50 years. So,
yep.
I don't know. I see what you're saying, but I don't know if just immediate future, anything would ever surpass the Saints. Other than LSU football.
No, you're right. Hey, Brett, a quick note, because I don't think too many people care all that much. The PGA, a major, that's why I'm bringing it up. Valhalla and Louisville, just too soft, too easy. I mean, the scores were like a regular PGA tournament. Like it was Valhalla, Black & Decker Open in Louisville or something,
Yeah.
They destroyed that course.
Very, very, very low scores. I think it was just maybe they had a lot of rain and that's the best they could do with it. Maybe I'm just making an excuse for them, but the course looked beautiful and the action was very compelling. And it was nice to see Xander Schauffele, a guy who has been playing at Zurich every year for the past several years. In New Orleans, including a past champion in New Orleans, winning that event. So I thought it was, it was actually, and in some ways, a good story locally, in that here's a guy who's been steadily coming to the New Orleans PGA Tour stop, and has won at the team event with Patrick Cantlay winning his first major in Louisville, and doing so against the live guy, beating with a birdie on the last hole.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Overall, I thought it was great.
Yeah, thank goodness. Didn't want to see a DeChambeau playoff. Hey, every day this program's brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner, brah. Right on the corner, right on the price. I-10 at Williams in Kenner. And now Lamarck Crescent City Ford, the legendary Ford truck dealership on Jefferson Highway. Now under the Lamarck umbrella. Every day this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner. And now Lamarck Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway. Hey, Brett, LSU baseballs, they look like they were done a month ago. They've gotten hot lately, including a sweep of Ole Miss. They have some success in the SEC tournament. They're NCAA tournament bound, right?
So, clearly they're making that argument now.
They're like a 12 seed in the tournament, which is, aren't they 11 or 12? There's only 14 teams in the SEC, right?
Yeah. But yeah, obviously they were the only team, I think, all year to, at least at the time they did it, to take it serious from A&M. And did well this past weekend, of course. So things have been looking up for them. I think that they would have to make it to maybe like the last 2 to 4 teams in the SEC tournament.
Yeah, the Final Four. They make it to the championship game. They're a lock. Make it to the Final Four. They're probably, and that sounds right. Hey, other LSU news: Simone Augustus coming back, joining Kim Mulkey's staff. That's kind of a coup.
Maybe. She had, she had a retirement on her staff, a big retirement. She had an opening.
Yep.
And maybe Simone Augustus is at the point of her life where, she's ready to get into coaching.
Well, she was doing a little WNBA coaching, I think.
Yeah, and she's, this is a kind of a cool period in her life because she's being inducted into all these things, right?
Yep.
She was recently inducted in the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. I think she's going into the Naismith Hall of Fame.
Yep.
As well this year. And
Louisiana, all of it. Yep.
So it's a great story for her and for LSU. We'll see what kind of coach he is at this level.
What's happening with the Pels in the offseason? We're going to see a trade or not?
Well, I think there's a good chance that we will that we'll see a trade. I mean, you know, the rumor is that they're definitely listening to offers for Brandon Ingram. And it's it's due diligence. They have to listen to those offers, whether they really intend to deal him or not. But, you know, especially when a guy's going into the last year of his contract, and, you know, he didn't have the best. But they definitely want to build around Zion. I think they feel like maybe they've seen enough of Zion and Ingram together to realize that they want to go in a different direction and they want to build around one of them and not have both of them together. And so, you know, we could end up seeing some kind of blockbuster, but I just don't know how long it's going to take to put together.
And David Griffin, is he the guy? I mean, he's been here 5 years. What's been accomplished since he's been here? Zero. He walked into Zion Williamson. He had nothing to do with that. What has he accomplished?
He had nothing to do with that, but actually he had to navigate. I mean, the first 4 years of Zion's career were tough, you know?
Yeah, but still, you got to overcome that and get other players in and win without him. What has David Griffin done in 5 years as GM of the Pels?
I mean, they've made it to the postseason, although, you know, the play-in, I don't know if you want to count that.
Yep, limping in and then limping out.
The last 3 years, and they made it to the play-in last year, but lost to Oklahoma City. So, you know, become a team that's relevant even in March, you know, as a team that wasn't relevant really at the end of February the year before. So, you know, they're a team that seems to have some upside. That's what he's done, but he has not made them into a contender, and he has been here since 2019.
I mean, if I'm Gail Benson, I would say that her general managers of each franchise are not just sitting in a comfortable chair, that there's a Bic lighter lit somewhere and someone's about to stick it under the chair. I think both of those guys, Loomis and Griffin, are on a pseudo warm seat, or should be. I mean, you don't win next year. Well, what? You just keep going in the same direction? I don't know. Loomis is Sean Payton. No Sean Payton, who knows where Mickey Loomis would be? Sean Payton, Drew Brees. That's just, you know, fortunate. And Griffin is walking into Zion and not much else. I don't know, Brett. I think you got some antsy fans.
Well, I could see Loomis moving into some kind of, you know, more like inner circle front office role or something like that, and getting away from day-to-day football ops if they continue to struggle. But I think he's got a seat in the executive circle in that administration for the rest of his life. I mean, at the rate they're going right now.
That's probably so. Mickey Loomis isn't getting hired by any other NFL team. There's no other NFL team that's like, we covet Mickey Loomis as an executive. He would get a B-type job. He'd be under a GM. He would not be the GM. He'd be a cap guy or contract guy and never be GM again. So, no, I think you make a good point. He would probably fade into just like administrative president, some kind of role like that, and be in the room when Dennis Lausch and these other folks, advisors, are making suggestions to Gail Benson. I think that's right.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, he became a close confidant that went beyond the role of a general manager for the Benson.
Yep.
And you know, and so so I just can't envision him leaving the organization.
No, it'd just be another general manager. Griffin would just be gone and would go do it somewhere else as a assistant GM and try to move back up into the GM role with another NBA team. Hey, Brett, how can folks check out your stuff on the AP?
Yeah, go to apnews.com or, the AP News app, which is free for a smartphone. Gives you news from all over the world, not just sports. It's an excellent source of news on the war in Ukraine, the Middle East, politics, finance, entertainment, and, of course, sports from all over the country, including here.
Yep. Brett, always a pleasure. Till next week, have a good one.
All right. You too, man. Take it easy.
That's Brett Martell from the Associated Press. That's Blue Boy barking. He's saying he's hungry, wants some kibble, wants to go for a walk, wants to be petted, wants to be loved on. All right, what else, Blue Boy? Thank the corporal. Thanks for watching and listening. What? Too many. What? Tuesday, tomorrow. Gotcha. Tell everyone to join us tomorrow at 4. Thank you, Blue Boy.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.